My dear, before we ask what your great purpose is, before we worry about whether you are behind, before we measure your life against someone else's success, before we rush into the noise of another day, let us recognize the first gift. You woke up today. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Truly, somewhere, someone is fighting for one more breath. Somewhere, someone is lying in a hospital bed wishing they could stand where you are standing. Somewhere, someone would give anything for one ordinary morning. One more chance to drink water, open a window, hear a familiar voice, feel sunlight, begin again, and here you are, alive, breathing, present, perhaps not perfect, perhaps not fully rested, perhaps not certain about everything, but alive. And that means life has not finished speaking through you. I am alive today, and that means life is still inviting me forward. This is where purpose begins, not with pressure, not with a grand announcement, not with a demand that you must know exactly what your whole life is supposed to become. Purpose begins in the simple recognition that this day has been given to you, and you can meet it with a little more awareness than yesterday. You can choose again. You can learn again. You can love again. You can forgive one small thing. You can take one honest step. You can speak one kinder sentence. You can stop abandoning yourself in one tiny moment. You can become more awake inside your own life. That is not small, my dear. That is sacred. Many people are not truly living. They are only moving from one task to another. Wake up, check the phone, hurry, work, react, worry, eat without tasting, speak without feeling, sleep without resting, then do it all again, and the calendar fills, but the soul feels empty. This is what it means to live day to day without meaning, not because your life has no purpose, but because you have become disconnected from the meaning already available inside the ordinary moments. Living with purpose does not always mean doing something enormous. It does not mean everyone must see your name, applaud your work, or understand your path. Purpose can begin very quietly. It can begin when you ask, why am I doing what I am doing today? It can begin when you decide, I want to bring more love into this conversation. It can begin when you care for your body because you want to stay present for your life. It can begin when you stop doing everything from fear and begin doing one thing from love. I do not just pass through this day. I give this day meaning. A day becomes meaningful when you enter it with intention. The same breakfast can be rushed or blessed. The same work can be punishment or service. The same conversation can be automatic or loving. The same challenge can be proof that life is against you, or an invitation to become stronger, softer, clearer, wiser. The outer action may look the same, but the inner energy changes everything. This is why I like to say, do not wait for a perfect life to live with purpose. Bring purpose to the life that is already here. And the morning is such an important doorway. The first thoughts of the day often become the emotional weather you carry. If you wake and immediately think, I am behind, I am tired, I cannot do this, nothing is changing, the mind begins walking an old road before your feet even touch the floor. But if you pause, even for a few seconds, and choose one thought deliberately, you begin to reclaim your power. You are no longer letting old fear write the first sentence of the day. So before the phone, before the messages, before the demands, ask yourself, what energy do I want to live from today? Maybe today the answer is peace, maybe courage, maybe gratitude, maybe gentleness, maybe discipline, maybe joy, maybe forgiveness, maybe trust. Choose one. Let it be simple. Today I choose peace. Today I choose courage. Today I choose to be kind to myself. Today I choose to take one step toward my purpose. You do not need 10 thoughts. One true thought can guide a whole day. This is how you win the morning battle in the mind. Not by fighting every negative thought, but by choosing the thought you want to feed. The old mind may still speak. Let it chatter a little. It has practiced worry for a long time, but you can answer with love. Thank you for trying to protect me. Today, I am choosing another way. That is powerful. That is self-leadership. That is healing in motion. This morning, I choose my thoughts before the world chooses them for me. Perhaps you have been waiting for purpose to arrive like a lightning strike. But what if purpose is built through the way you live this morning? What if purpose grows each time you choose not to waste your life in comparison? What if purpose grows each time you make one honest decision, one loving choice, one brave boundary, one creative step, one moment of gratitude? What if the reason you are still here is not hidden far away, but waiting inside the way you meet today? My dear, you are not here by accident. You did not wake up today for nothing. Even if you feel tired, even if you feel uncertain, even if you have been living day to day for a long time, life is still inviting you forward, not with shame, with love. Not saying you are late, saying come back to your breath, come back to your heart, come back to your gifts, come back to the meaning that has been waiting underneath the noise. So begin here. Thank your body for waking. Thank life for another morning. Ask what energy you want to carry. Choose one thought before the world chooses for you. And let this day become more than something you survive. Let it become something you bless, something you shape, something you enter with awareness. You are alive today. That means there is still something for you to learn, something for you to give, something for you to heal, something for you to love, something for you to become. And perhaps the purpose of this morning is simply to stop drifting and begin choosing. I am alive today. I give this day meaning. I choose my thoughts before the world chooses them for me. And with that, my dear, a new kind of day can begin. I remember a time when I used to cling to the past as though replaying it would somehow change it. I would go over the same moments in my mind. Why did I say that? Why did I stay so long? Why did I trust them? Why did I not know better? And the more I asked those questions with anger, the smaller I felt. It did not free me. It only made me sit in the same old room with the same old pain. And perhaps you know that feeling too, my dear. The morning comes, the light enters the room, the body wakes up, life gives you a new day, and yet the mind reaches backward and pulls yesterday, last year, or 10 years ago into the present moment. Then the new day is not really new anymore. It is being asked to carry the weight of the old one. But there comes a very gentle point in healing when we stop using the past as a whip. We begin to understand that what happened can teach us without continuing to punish us. We can say, yes, I made that choice. Yes, I trusted when I was lonely. Yes, I stayed when I should have left. Yes, I spoke from fear. Yes, I did not know then what I know now. And then we can add the most loving sentence, and I am allowed to learn. That sentence changes everything. It moves the past from a prison into a classroom. It lets the old self become a human being who was trying, not a criminal who must be sentenced every morning. The question, why did I do that, can be useful if it is asked with kindness, but when it is asked with cruelty, it only reopens the wound. If the voice inside says, why did you do that? What is wrong with you? The body tightens, the heart hides. Nothing grows well in that kind of inner weather. But if the voice becomes softer and asks, what were you needing then? What were you afraid of? What did that version of you not yet understand? Then wisdom comes. You begin to see the younger self with compassion. Perhaps you were looking for love. Perhaps you were trying to survive. Perhaps you did not yet know how to choose yourself. Perhaps you were doing the best you could with the consciousness you had at the time. And that is healing. Not excusing everything, not pretending every choice was good, but refusing to build your identity around the mistake. You are not the old mistake. You are the awareness that can learn from it. You are not the past pain. You are the life that is still here after it. You are not what happened to you. You are the one who can take the lesson and leave the punishment behind. The past is a lesson, not a prison. So this morning, instead of dragging yesterday into today, you might gently say, I bless the lesson and I release the sentence. Let the lesson come with you. Maybe the lesson is, I need boundaries. Maybe it is, I can trust my body sooner. Maybe it is, I do not need to chase love. Maybe it is, I must speak more kindly to myself. Take that with you. That is useful. But leave the shame. Leave the endless replaying. Leave the old punishment. You do not need to keep suffering to prove that you learned. Every morning is a little doorway out of the old story. That does not mean you forget. It means you stop worshiping the memory. It means you stop making one chapter responsible for the whole book. You get up, wash your face, breathe. and decide, today, I will not make my nervous system pay for what already happened. Today, I will let myself be new in one small way. One small way is enough. You answer yourself with kindness. You take a different route. You do not send the message. You drink water. You choose peace before you choose the old argument. That is how a life changes, not always in one grand dramatic moment, but through small refusals to keep living as the wounded self. And now let us speak about the future, because the mind loves to run there too. If it is not digging up the past, it is often racing ahead. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if there is not enough? What if I am too late? The mind imagines 100 futures and then asks the body to suffer each one as though it were already real. This is why worry is so exhausting. You may be sitting safely in one room, but the mind has taken you through 10 disasters before breakfast. Worry feels responsible, but it is not the same as wisdom. Wisdom says, let us take the next right step. Worry says, let us suffer every possible outcome before it arrives. Wisdom prepares, worry drains. Wisdom looks at what can be done today. Worry tries to control a future that has not yet opened. And my dear, worrying about tomorrow does not make tomorrow safer. It only steals the life force you need for today. The present moment is where your power lives, not yesterday. Yesterday can teach you, but you cannot go back and live there differently. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow may be influenced by what you choose, but you cannot hold tomorrow in your hands yet. What you have is this breath, this thought, this body, this small decision, this morning, and when you put your whole life back into the present moment, something very beautiful happens. The world becomes more real again. The cup in your hand, the floor under your feet, the air entering your lungs, the person in front of you, the task that is actually here, the little blessing you almost missed because the mind was somewhere else. Sometimes we miss miracles because we are rehearsing fear. A bird sings and we do not hear it. The sunlight changes and we do not notice. Someone smiles and we are too busy worrying. The body asks for rest and we are too busy planning. Life is touching us in small ways all the time, but the mind has to come home to receive them. This is why presence is healing. It does not solve the whole future at once. It gives you back the only place where anything can be healed. Now, try this in the morning. Before you ask, what will happen next? Ask, what is here now? Here is my breath. Here is my body. Here is this room. Here is this day. Here is one thing I can do with love. Here is one thought I can choose. Here is one small step. The mind may still want the whole map. Smile gently at it. Not yet, darling. We are here now. This is not avoiding the future. It is meeting the future from a calmer place. And when the future feels frightening, Perhaps the most loving thing you can say is, I will meet it when it comes. You do not have to meet every possible tomorrow today. You do not have to solve every conversation, every bill, every feeling, every unknown before you are allowed to breathe. You can say, when the next step appears, I will take it. When the decision is needed, I will listen. When support is available, I will receive it. For now, I come back to this breath. My power is here, in this breath, in this moment. This is how a day begins to have purpose, not by carrying the past and fearing the future, but by entering the present with love. You stop asking the morning to pay for yesterday. You stop asking your body to survive tomorrow before it arrives. You begin to live here, and here you are not powerless. Here you can choose your tone. You can soften your shoulders. You can tell the truth. You can forgive one small thing. You can do the next task with care. You can bless what is in front of you. Perhaps your purpose today is not yet a grand mission. Perhaps it is learning to stop abandoning the present moment. Perhaps it is learning to stop punishing yourself for yesterday. Perhaps it is learning to stop frightening yourself about tomorrow. Perhaps it is simply saying, today I choose to be here for my life. That may sound simple, but it is profound. Many people live everywhere except where they are. They live in regret, in fantasy, in fear, in comparison, in memory, in imagined conversations. To come back to now is an act of power. And if the old thoughts come, let them come and let them pass. You do not need to fight everyone. You can notice there is the past again, and then return. There is the future again, and then return. The return is the practice. Every return is healing. Every return says, I am no longer abandoning this moment. Every return teaches the body that life is not only danger and regret. Life is also this breath, this chance, this small good. My dear, you are not behind because you are learning presence. You are not failing because your mind wanders. You are practicing, and practice is how we become free. Little by little, the past loses its grip. Little by little, the future stops stealing so much energy. Little by little, the present becomes a home. And from that home, you can build a life with meaning. So let this morning be new. Do not ask it to carry yesterday's shame. Do not fill it with tomorrow's fear. Let it be a clean page, even if the page has only one sentence on it. I am here. That is enough to begin. Then perhaps another sentence, I am willing. Then another, I choose love now. And with those little sentences, the day opens. The past is a lesson, not a prison. My power is here, in this breath, in this moment. I do not just survive this day, I meet it with presence. And perhaps, as you listen to this, you can feel something inside you loosening. The old story does not need to be carried so tightly. The future does not need to be feared so loudly. This moment is waiting for you, my dear. And when you come back to it, life begins again. And when you stop living in yesterday and stop frightening yourself with tomorrow, something very tender becomes available to you today, this actual day, this breath, this body, this small piece of life that is asking to be lived, not merely survived. And here, my dear, you may discover that joy is not always waiting at the end of a perfect life. Joy can begin much closer than that. It can begin in the way you speak to yourself before the world speaks to you. It can begin in the way you pour water into a glass and remember, I am nourishing myself. It can begin in the way you choose one peaceful thought instead of letting the old fear become the leader again. You may not control every big achievement today. You may not control what other people say, how quickly the dream arrives, how the future unfolds, or whether everything goes according to your plan. But there are still places where your power is very much alive. You can choose the tone of your inner voice. You can choose one loving action toward your body. You can choose to notice what is beautiful instead of only what is missing. You can choose to become a friend to your own life. This is what I mean by mastering your own joy. It is not forcing yourself to be happy. That would be another pressure, wouldn't it? It is not pretending that pain does not exist. It is not smiling over grief or calling everything wonderful when your heart is asking for care. Real joy is much kinder than that. It says, even here, I can bring a little light. It says, even today, I can choose one thing that helps me feel more alive. It says, I do not have to wait until life is perfect before I allow myself to feel a small goodness. Joy is not always fireworks. Sometimes joy is a quiet cup of tea. Sometimes joy is a walk where you finally breathe. Sometimes joy is not checking the phone first thing in the morning. Sometimes joy is telling yourself, I am proud of you for trying. Sometimes joy is putting on music while you clean the room. Sometimes joy is saying no and feeling your energy come back to you. Each morning, you might ask yourself, how can I feel a little lighter today? Not how can I fix the whole life, not how can I impress everyone, not how can I become perfect before sunset. Just lighter. Perhaps you need less noise. Perhaps you need to eat slowly. Perhaps you need 5 minutes of sunlight. Perhaps you need to forgive yourself for yesterday. Perhaps you need to do the hardest task first so it no longer follows you around. Perhaps you need to wear something that makes you feel like yourself. Perhaps you need to call someone who warms your heart. Perhaps you need to stop giving mental space to someone who drains you. These little choices are not small in the soul. They are ways of saying, I am participating in my own happiness. And then ask, how can I feel more alive today? The answer may surprise you. Sometimes aliveness does not come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from doing what is true, speaking honestly, moving the body, creating something, learning something, going outside, touching your own heart, and saying, I am here. Aliveness comes when you are no longer only obeying old routines. It comes when you bring consciousness into the day, when you stop moving like a machine and begin living like a soul. A person can have a full calendar and still feel empty. A person can have an ordinary day and feel deeply alive because they are present inside it. You can practice joy by reducing the little things that steal it. That is very practical. Do not begin the morning by comparing your life to someone else's highlight. Do not give your freshest energy to worry. Do not speak to your body with disgust while it is trying to carry you. Do not rehearse old conversations as though pain needs another performance. Do not fill every quiet space with noise. Give joy some room to enter. Joy likes space. Joy likes breath. Joy likes gratitude. Joy likes simplicity. Joy likes the moment when you stop chasing what is not here and finally touch what is. And gratitude, again, is one of the doors. Not the forced kind, not the kind that says, I should be grateful, so I must not feel anything else. No, true gratitude can sit beside tenderness. You can be healing and grateful. You can be tired and grateful. You can desire more and still bless what is here. You can say, thank you, body, for waking up. Thank you, room, for holding me. Thank you, breath, for staying with me. Thank you, life, for another chance. Gratitude does not make you passive. It makes you receptive. It turns your eyes towards support, and what you notice, you begin to feel. Another way to practice joy is through kindness toward yourself. I know I say this often, and I say it because it is the foundation. If your mind is cruel, joy has a hard time staying. It may visit for a moment, but then the old criticism pushes it away. So choose one sentence today that makes your inner world safer. I am doing the best I can. I am allowed to learn. I do not have to be perfect to be loved. I can begin again. I am here for myself. Let the sentence be simple. Let it be something the body can believe a little. A kind thought is like opening a window. It lets the stale air out. You can also practice joy by making one choice that honors your body. The body is not separate from happiness. A tired, tense, criticized body will find it difficult to feel uplifted. So give the body one act of friendship: water, stretching, a slower breath, a nourishing meal, a short walk, rest before you collapse, a hand on the heart, a little less rushing. Do not make the body earn care by becoming perfect. Care for it because it is your home. When the body feels respected, joy has a softer place to live. And perhaps the deepest way to master joy is to stop giving other people full authority over it. Yes, people can affect us. We are human. A kind word can brighten us. A harsh word can sting. But you do not have to hand over your whole inner world. Someone may be distant, and you can still return to yourself. Someone may not understand you, and you can still speak kindly within. Someone may not choose you, and you can still choose life. This is not coldness. This is emotional freedom. It says, I welcome love from others, but I do not abandon my own love when others are unavailable. That is a very grown kind of joy. It has roots. Joy is a choice I can practice today. Not a choice you make once and never forget. A practice, a return, a small, faithful turning toward what gives life. You may choose joy in the morning and forget by noon. That is all right. Choose again. You may feel peaceful for 10 minutes and then become irritated. Choose again. You may begin with gratitude and then fall into worry. Choose again. Every return strengthens the path. Every small choice tells the subconscious mind we are learning a different way to live. And now, as joy begins to become less dependent on outer perfection, you may feel something else rising. The desire to live more fully, not just pleasantly, fully, to use the gifts you have, to stop delaying your life, to stop saying, when I am ready, when I am perfect, when I am certain, when everyone approves, when fear disappears, then I will begin. My dear, fear loves to say later. It sounds reasonable. It says, wait until you know more. Wait until you feel safer. Wait until you are better. Wait until you cannot fail. But if you wait until there is no fear, you may wait your whole life. Fear often leaves after you begin, not before. Your purpose may not arrive as a full map. It may arrive as a little nudge, a small curiosity, a repeated desire, a pain you want to help others heal, a skill you want to learn, a message you keep wanting to share, a quiet longing that does not go away. If you keep saying, I need to know the whole path before I take the first step, you may stay standing at the doorway for years. But life often gives the next step only after you take the one in front of you. This is faith. This is movement. This is how potential becomes lived experience. You do not need to be perfect to begin. Please let that thought enter deeply. You do not need to be perfectly confident to start the project. You do not need to be perfectly healed to speak with kindness. You do not need to be perfectly skilled to practice. You do not need to be perfectly fearless to take a brave step. You begin, and beginning teaches you. You begin, and the path responds. You begin, and your own energy changes, because now you are no longer only dreaming, you are participating. Fear may tell you that one small step is not enough, but fear often lies in extremes. It says, do everything now or do nothing. Love says, take one step, one page, one phone call, one lesson, one boundary, one walk, one honest conversation, one morning where you choose your thoughts, one act that matches the person you are becoming. These small steps are how the soul becomes trustworthy to itself. Every time you take one step, you teach yourself, I can move, I can respond, I am not trapped. Sometimes the fear is not only fear of failure. Sometimes it is fear of becoming visible. If you live fully, people may see you. They may have opinions. They may not understand. They may say, "Who do you think you are?" And the tender part inside may want to hide again. But darling, your life was not given to you so you could make everyone comfortable with your smallness. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to express. You are allowed to have a voice. You are allowed to become more alive than the old environment expected you to be. And sometimes fear is fear of success. That may sound strange, but it is real. Success may mean change. It may mean new responsibility. It may mean being seen. It may mean leaving behind people who only knew the old you. It may mean receiving more good than your nervous system is used to. If that is so, be gentle. Teach the body that good things can be safe. Let success come one step at a time. Let joy come one breath at a time. You do not have to leap into a new identity overnight. You can grow into it with love. The purpose of your life is not separate from your daily choices. Purpose is not only a career, a title, or a grand mission. Purpose is the energy you bring, the love you practice, the truth you tell, the gift you express, the healing you allow, the way you make the room softer because you have become more present, the way you stop repeating the old pain and become someone who chooses differently. Your purpose may expand into work, service, creativity, teaching, family, community, or something visible, but it begins here, in the willingness to live today with more consciousness than yesterday. Ask yourself now, gently, what is one brave step I can take today? Not the step that impresses people, not the step that proves your worth, the step that feels true. Maybe it is applying for something. Maybe it is writing the first paragraph. Maybe it is cleaning the space that has been draining you. Maybe it is saying no. Maybe it is saying yes. Maybe it is asking for help. Maybe it is going for a walk. Maybe it is finally listening to the longing you have been dismissing. The step may be quiet, but if it is true, it has power. And when you take it, bless yourself. Do not wait for the world to clap. You clap inwardly. You say, "I am proud of you for beginning. I am proud of you for not waiting until everything was perfect. I am proud of you for choosing life." This is how courage grows. It grows in an atmosphere of self-encouragement. A frightened inner child will not move well under criticism, but with love, with warmth, with patience, the child can take your hand and walk. I am safe to take one brave step today. Feel the softness in that. Not 10 steps, not a whole new life by tomorrow. One brave step. And safe does not mean nothing will ever feel uncomfortable. Safe means you will stay with yourself while you grow. Safe means you will speak kindly to yourself if the step is messy. Safe means you will learn instead of attack yourself. Safe means your worth is not at risk because you are trying. My dear, living day to day is not a failure. Sometimes it is how we survived. But if your soul is asking for more now, Listen, it may be time to stop letting fear decide the size of your life. It may be time to let joy return in small practices. It may be time to let purpose become a daily choice, not a distant mystery. You are alive today. That means life is still inviting you forward. It is not shouting, it is not condemning, it is gently saying, "Come, there is more of you to live." So choose joy in one small way. Take one brave step. Let this day have meaning because you bring meaning to it. Let your purpose begin not as pressure, but as presence. You do not have to know the whole road. You only need to stop sleeping through the life that is in front of you. Open your eyes to this morning. Open your heart to one possibility. Open your hands to one action. Joy is a choice I can practice today. I am safe to take one brave step today. I do not wait for my life to become perfect before I begin living it with purpose. And perhaps when this day ends, you will not measure it by whether everything changed. You will measure it by whether you were present, whether you were kinder to yourself, whether you chose one true thing, whether you took one step toward the life that has been quietly calling your name. Have you ever thought of your day as a canvas, my dear? Not a perfect canvas, not a canvas where you get to control every brush stroke that life brings toward you, but a living canvas, soft and open, waiting for the colors you choose to bring. You may not control the weather. You may not control someone else's mood. You may not control every delay, every message, every responsibility, every little surprise that comes. But you do have something precious. You have the power of response. You have the power to decide whether fear will hold the brush or love will. You have the power to pause before the old reaction paints the same old picture again. And perhaps that is where purpose begins in the morning, not in having everything planned perfectly, but in saying, "Today, I will not let circumstances write the whole story for me. I will bring my own light to the canvas. I choose the colors I bring to this day." Think of yesterday for a moment, but only gently. Perhaps yesterday was painted with worry. Perhaps the colors were heavy gray thoughts, red irritation, blue sadness, old brown disappointment, the same little black lines of self-criticism across the page. And perhaps, by the end of the day, you looked at it and thought, "Why does my life feel the same?" Well, my dear, this morning is an invitation to choose differently, not to shame yesterday, not to tear up the canvas of your past, just to recognize that today does not have to be painted with the same old hand. A fearful reaction creates one kind of day. A loving response creates another. The event may be the same, but the energy you bring changes the picture. Someone may speak sharply to you. Fear might paint defensiveness. Love might paint a breath, a boundary, or a calm answer. A plan may change. Fear might paint panic. Love might paint flexibility. You may look at your unfinished dreams. Fear might paint, "I am behind." Love might paint, I can take one step today. You may feel tired. Fear might paint, I am failing. Love might paint, my body is asking for kindness. Do you see? The outer moment is not the whole painting. Your response is part of the art. This is not about pretending everything is easy. It is about remembering that you are not powerless inside your own day. And when you begin to live this way, the day becomes more intimate, more alive. You are no longer just being pushed through hours by alarms, messages, obligations, and old habits. You are participating. You are choosing. You are asking, what do I want to bring here? Perhaps you bring patience to the traffic. Perhaps you bring gratitude to your breakfast. Perhaps you bring presence to your work. Perhaps you bring gentleness to your body. Perhaps you bring forgiveness to an old memory. Perhaps you bring courage to a task you have been avoiding. Each of these is a color. Each of these gives meaning to the day. A life with purpose is not only built in the large milestones, it is built in the way you meet the small moments. Purpose can be in the way you answer the phone. It can be in the way you care for a child, a parent, a friend, or your own tired body. It can be in the way you put beauty into a room. It can be in the way you refuse to speak cruelly to yourself. It can be in the way you take your gifts seriously enough to use them, even for 15 minutes. If you are waiting for a huge sign before your life can feel meaningful, you may overlook the quiet meaning already calling you from today. So in the morning, before the world becomes too loud, ask yourself 3 simple questions, not like homework, not like pressure. Ask them the way you might open a window and let fresh air come in. The first question is, how can I feel happy today? That is a very tender question, and some people almost feel guilty asking it. They think happiness must come after everything is done, after everyone else is cared for, after success, after approval, after the problems are solved. But happiness can begin in small, honest ways. Perhaps you feel happy by taking a walk. Perhaps by wearing something that feels lovely. Perhaps by making your tea slowly. Perhaps by singing in the car. Perhaps by not checking the phone for the first few minutes of the morning. Perhaps by doing one thing that makes your inner child smile. Happiness does not always mean excitement. Sometimes happiness is relief. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is the absence of self-attack. Sometimes it is the feeling of finally telling the truth. Sometimes it is choosing not to make the day heavier than it needs to be. If you ask, how can I feel happy today? You are not being selfish. You are becoming responsible for the atmosphere inside your own life. And a happy heart, even in a small way, has more to give. It is less resentful, less hungry, less desperate, more available to love. The second question is, how can I grow today? Not how can I become perfect, not how can I fix my whole personality before sunset, just grow. Perhaps growth today is learning something new. Perhaps it is listening before reacting. Perhaps it is setting one boundary. Perhaps it is admitting I was wrong without hating yourself. Perhaps it is doing the thing you keep avoiding. Perhaps it is resting because you are learning that exhaustion is not worthiness. Growth is not always adding more. Sometimes growth is releasing what has been too heavy. Sometimes growth is choosing peace over drama. Sometimes growth is no longer needing to prove your value to people who cannot see it. And the third question is, how can I bring joy to someone else today? Not because you must become a rescuer, not because you must abandon yourself to make others happy, but because joy expands when it is shared freely. Perhaps you send a kind message. Perhaps you smile. Perhaps you listen with real attention. Perhaps you bless someone silently instead of judging them. Perhaps you do your work with care because someone will be helped by it. Perhaps you bring warmth into a room that usually feels tense. You do not need to change the whole world today. Just bring one little blessing to one little corner of it. That counts. Love always counts. These three questions move you out of automatic living. They help you stop drifting. They remind you that purpose is not only what you achieve, it is the energy you bring. You can achieve a great deal from fear and still feel empty. You can do something very simple from love and feel deeply aligned. Purpose is not always louder. Sometimes it is clearer. It is not always bigger. Sometimes it is truer. Purpose begins with one loving question, and perhaps the morning itself can become your little studio. Before the day paints you, you pick up the brush. You may say, "Today I choose peace," or "Today I choose courage," or "Today I choose to grow," or "Today I choose to be kind to myself." Let it be simple. A sentence in the morning can become a path in the day. It gives your mind something to return to when the old habits appear. Now let us speak some morning affirmations, but softly, as living thoughts, not stiff little lines that must be believed instantly. Let them be seeds. I wake up today with passion and a clear sense of purpose. And if you do not feel passion yet, do not worry. Passion is not always a flame at first. Sometimes it begins as a little warmth, a little interest, a little willingness to care again. Perhaps your clear purpose today is simply to show up with more love than yesterday. That is enough to begin. I have unique gifts, and I am ready to share them with the world. Your gifts may not look like someone else's gifts. Please do not compare them. You may have the gift of comforting, the gift of organizing, the gift of seeing beauty, the gift of creating, the gift of teaching, the gift of listening, the gift of making people feel safe, the gift of humor, the gift of honesty, the gift of prayer, the gift of resilience, the gift of beginning again. These gifts matter. Use one today, even quietly, especially quietly, if that is where you are beginning. Everything I do today has meaning and brings value to life. This does not mean every action must be grand. Washing a dish can have meaning when done with presence. Sending an email can have meaning when done with care. Resting can have meaning when it restores your body. Learning can have meaning because it grows your future. Speaking kindly to yourself can have meaning because it ends a cycle of inner cruelty. Do not wait for the world to call your day important. Bless it yourself. Life guides me to perfect opportunities to be myself. I love that thought. Not opportunities to become a false version, not opportunities to impress everyone, opportunities to be yourself, to speak from your truth, to create from your heart, to choose what fits, to stop squeezing into rooms where your soul cannot breathe. Life is always guiding you back to the real you, sometimes through a door opening, sometimes through a door closing, sometimes through desire, sometimes through discomfort. Listen, you see, the purpose of the day is not to become someone else. It is to express more of who you truly are. The fear may say, hide, wait, be perfect first. Make everyone approve first. But life says, begin. Bring the real you. Bring the tender you. Bring the growing you. Bring the creative you. Bring the loving you. Bring the one who has survived and is still willing to become. That is beautiful. That is enough. Do not waste the new day on old thoughts that make you small. If the thought has been shrinking you for years, perhaps it does not deserve the first seat in your morning. If the old belief says, you are too late, answer, I am here now. If it says, you have nothing to give, answer, there is something in me that only I can express. If it says, this day does not matter, answer, this day is part of my life, and I will meet it with love. You are not here to be bullied by your own mind. You are here to become the loving leader of it. Perhaps today will not be perfect. That is all right. A meaningful day does not require perfection. It requires presence. It asks, were you here? Did you notice? Did you choose one loving thing? Did you grow one little bit? Did you bring one kindness into the world? Some of the most purposeful days are very ordinary from the outside. No great applause, no visible breakthrough, but inside, something shifts. You choose yourself. You take the step. You forgive the old mistake. You make the call. You finish the small task. You stop comparing. You let yourself enjoy the morning. And the soul says, yes, this is living. And perhaps that is what we are really learning, to stop only passing through time and begin inhabiting life, to be here, to bless the body that woke up, to choose the thought before fear chooses it, to let the past teach without imprisoning, to let the future inspire without frightening, to take today as a canvas and bring colors that feel true. Not every color must be bright. Some days need soft colors. Some days need brave colors. Some days need rest colors. Some days need deep, honest colors. The important thing is that you are the one choosing with consciousness. If sadness comes today, perhaps you paint with compassion. If pressure comes, perhaps you paint with breath. If opportunity comes, perhaps you paint with courage. If conflict comes, perhaps you paint with dignity. If love comes, perhaps you paint with openness. If nothing special happens, perhaps you paint with gratitude for the simple fact that you are here. There is no wasted day when you live it with awareness. Even a difficult day can become meaningful if it teaches you to stay with yourself. Even a quiet day can become meaningful if it restores you. Even a confusing day can become meaningful if it helps you ask better questions. The day is not only meaningful when it looks impressive, it is meaningful when you bring your soul to it. My dear, you are here for a reason, not as a slogan, not as pressure, as a gentle truth. Your existence has meaning. Your presence affects the world around you. The way you speak matters. The way you love matters. The way you heal matters. The way you choose today matters. You may not yet see the entire pattern, but your thread belongs in the tapestry of life. So before you go on with your morning, ask the 3 questions. How can I feel happy today? How can I grow today? How can I bring joy to someone else today? Let one answer come, then live it. Small, honest, and real. If the answer is rest, rest with love. If the answer is create, create for a few minutes. If the answer is forgive, begin softly. If the answer is reach out, do it with kindness. If the answer is be brave, take the step. And if this message has touched something in you, let the words, I live with purpose, become more than a comment. Let them be an inner decision. I will not sleepwalk through my own life. I will not give the whole day to fear. I will not wait for perfection before I begin. I will live this day as though it matters, because it does. You may write those words if you feel ready. I live with purpose. And then, perhaps, write one color you want to bring into today: peace, courage, joy, love, gratitude, clarity, creativity, kindness. Let it be your color. Let it be your offering. Today does not need to be perfect to have meaning. You only need to be a little more present, a little more loving, a little more courageous, a little more willing to live as the person you are becoming. Do not give this beautiful new day to old thoughts that make you small. Do not let circumstances write the whole story. Pick up the brush, my dear. Choose your colors. Ask your loving questions. Take your one true step. I choose the colors I bring to this day. Purpose begins with one loving question. I am here for a reason, and today I choose to live like it. Life has given you another morning. Meet it as a gift, and let yourself become part of the gift you give back to life.